it's really good to see so many familiar faces, but also to welcome first-timers. And I met several of you yesterday who've been recently diagnosed and think that this conference gives you a fantastic opportunity to meet others and to kind of hear some of the latest research. I'd like to thank our clinicians, our researchers and healthcare professionals who are giving us their time today, and perhaps more importantly, are sharing with us their knowledge and wisdom. I'd also like to thank our supporters, Actilion, Heat Holders, Hot Rocks and TDS Healthcare. And your support's important in helping us to put on this conference. As Ariane was saying, we hope we put together a rich and varied programme. It's really important that we have your feedback. On your desks, you'll see a feedback form. So please make sure that you do fill that in. We do listen to what you have to say, and hopefully we will build the programme next year around that feedback and your comments. So, many of you will already know that SRUK, Scleroderma and Raynaud's UK, is the result of a merger between two organisations, the RSA and the Scleroderma Society. And that merger took place in October 2015, and SRUK went live in April 2016. So there was quite a lot of work to do in those intervening months to actually get us to be a public-facing organisation and brand. But I think one of the things that we've realised throughout the year is that as a small organisation, we're probably far more effective if we work in collaboration with others. And so one of the things that we've done this year, 2016-17, is to form an alliance with Lupus UK, Vasculitis UK, and the British Society of Rheumatology to form an alliance which has got a horribly long name, the Rare Autoimmune Rheumatic Disease Alliance, which you'll be happy to know we've shortened to RAREDA. I'm really pleased and delighted that Dr. Peter Lanyon has joined us today. He is the president of the British Society of Rheumatology, and he's also chair of RAREDA, and he's going to give us the keynote speech. Equally as important as collaboration is listening to you and understanding your challenges and your needs. And back in December 2015, we put out a big survey, and you responded and you said the top 3 priorities that SRUK should be challenging or dealing with is to provide information and support, is to increase awareness and understanding, and is to continue the investment in research. And during 2016-17, we've made progress across all of those priority areas. So providing information and support, it's key that we do that across all channels. Some people would prefer to have a printed leaflet in their hand, whereas other people are more than happy surfing the web. So we've got a strong online presence, we've built a strong website with social media, but we also need to make sure that we are increasing the content on a kind of monthly basis. We've had lots of downloads of our fact sheets, and we produce a quarterly magazine, and that's really important for making sure we get the latest news and research information out to you. And we're very lucky to have a volunteer-led helpline, and they took 1,800 calls last year, which means that lots of people are getting not just information, but the support that they need as and when they need it. And then face-to-face events, they're really important. We need to make sure that you have an opportunity to connect with other people. And so I hope you make the most of today to do that. Increasing awareness and understanding, you said, was really important. You're really frustrated that when you go and visit some professionals, they've never come across Raynaud's or scleroderma, and that actually when you do then get a diagnosis and you share that with your family and friends, they've never heard of it, they don't understand it. And for many of you, you find that incredibly frustrating. So we know that one of the challenges we've got to address is to make sure that we increase that awareness. But the important thing is that we need to know where we're starting, because if we are to measure the progression, we need to know what our starting point is. So in 2016, we commissioned a ComRes poll of 2,000 people. And what we found, and you won't be surprised by this, is that only 4% had heard of Raynaud's, and that fell to 1% for scleroderma. So we know that we've got a long way to go in making a change. But we've made a start. And we've started to build very strong relationships with the media, with some key journalists. And this is just a slide to show you some of the magazines and the tabloids and some of the broadsheets that we are starting to build relationships with, and that we've had significant coverage with over the last 18 months. We've also had a lot of coverage with online outlets, some influential ones like the Huffington Post. And of course, what that does is make our reach even greater. This is just to give you a sense of some of the features and articles that we've had. One of the important aspects, I think, is you sharing your stories. And I would like to say here and now, thank you very much to everybody who has come along and shared their story. It's not always an easy thing to do, but I can assure you that they are often the most powerful way to communicate what the condition is like and what it's like to live with it. We also take advantage of our social media platforms and use Facebook and Twitter to push out our own stories and really kind of have our own publishing platform. When we were in Leeds with the mobile clinic, we got 22,000 views of a video that we made on the spot and pushed out immediately. And when Grace shared her story about the impact of late diagnosis, we got over 16,000 views. So those are very, very powerful platforms for us to not only connect people, but to reach out and tell the story. But moving and shifting awareness and moving that 4% and that 1% up is going to take time. So there are many other measures that we put in place to track our performance. Some of those are about whether the media features a spokesperson or one of our clinicians, whether they include our website details, whether they include some of our key facts and figures. And I think, as you can see from that slide, we are doing well in that arena. So most of the press coverage we get does direct people to where they can get help and support. That's the really important aspect. So over our first year, those are just some of our key achievements. You will see we've seen growth across all platforms. Membership has risen from 2,000 to 2,600. Our e-newsletter, the sign-ups we've had, have gone to over 6,000 from 2,500. That's in 1 year. And all of our social media platforms have seen growth. That's important because it means we're reaching people who need our support. And it's important that it means that we are actually increasing our influence. One of the other things that we've also done, though, is to take to the streets to build our brand and awareness. And I'm not going to steal the thunder of Dr. Delgado and Amy Baker, who are going to tell you what happened when we hit the streets of Leeds. And boy, did we make an impact. But that's something that I'll leave them to share the story and tell you all about. The other priority of those three was research. We are determined to build on the legacy that the RSA and the Scleroderma Society have provided. Over the last 20-25 years, both organisations have invested in some pretty remarkable research that has really made significant inroads and changes so that we've brought forward the prospect of new treatments onto the market and looked at some of the causes, although still there is a lot of work to do. And you'll be hearing today from our researchers and clinicians about the work that they're currently undertaking. In order to make progress and to continue to invest, we've been doing some actions that will take us in the right direction. And one of those actions that was really important was to secure membership of the Association of Medical and Research Charities. It's important for two reasons. Because membership is a kite mark to say to donors, to institutions, SRUK is an organisation that you can trust. They have got good processes in place. They are transparent and effective. So that's a seal of approval, and I think sends out a very important signal to people who want to give money to SRUK for research. But the other really important side for us is that we are small and we need to do the most we can to leverage other money. Being a member of the AMRC means that for every institution we fund, for every £1, they can seek additional funding up to 28p for every £1. So already we are starting to leverage an additional 25%, which I think, as people who support us and give money to us, I think is a really good step forward. And last year we invested over 300,000. That was made up of 4 new grants, but also supporting other grants that are active. And we currently have 18 active research grants. So, bit of a busy slide. I'll leave it up there for a while. The 2 things I now want to talk to you about are the organisational side of things. Because as well as making sure that we provide information and support and that we're out there raising awareness, back at base, we have been working behind the scenes to build a strong organisation. Because the world has changed and there is increasing regulation. We need to have an organisation that's fit for purpose in the 21st century and the digital age. And that means we've had to invest time in making sure that we've got the right databases, the right security, so that your data is safe in our hands. But the other thing I think that is a mark of a good organisation is one that knows where it's going. We know what we want to achieve, and we've developed a strategy over the last year to take us in that direction. That strategy is very much based on all the information that you've given us over the last year and 18 months, from the surveys that we've done to conversations and focus groups that we've run. And there are 2 clear goals that you've said to us: a cure and the impact of Raynaud's and scleroderma on people's lives is minimised. So we're tackling that through 3 strategic aims: awareness, empowerment, healthcare and research. Now, I'm not going to go into that in detail, but I just wanted to flag up that we've done this piece of work and that we will be publishing our strategy on our website at the middle of October, so you can, at your ease, read through and see what it is that we are working with you to achieve. But none of this would be possible, actually, without your support and without the support of our clinicians. It's you and your support and your amazing fundraising efforts. And if we're to do more, we really need to work together to kind of strengthen and build that. But equally, back at SRUK, we need to do things. So we, last year, have been building a strong programme of events and community events to make sure that there's something on offer for everybody. Not everybody can run marathons or do the 3 peaks. That's me. But I could do a cake bake maybe and have cozy up with a coffee. So what we've tried to do is provide a range of activities that will enable everybody to participate. And Henry over at the back is more than happy to sign you up or tell you about ways to get involved. But the other thing that we're doing now is to reconnect and build relationships with trusts and foundations, because they will support some of our project work, some of the new initiatives that we want to do. And so together, if we look across the many income streams, we can start to build the size of service that we would like to for the future. So thank you very much. As I said at the beginning, your feedback is really important, so do fill in those forms and we do listen to you. Thank you very much.